Jadon Sancho is one of the best wingers in today's game. And apart from being a joy to watch, there's actually a ton of stuff that we can learn from him. Because Sancho just gets a lot of the fundamentals right. And today I'm gonna analyze some of those things and also point out what you need to learn as a winger or as an offensive player in general. Now, of course, there is a whole lot of stuff to rave about with Jadon Sancho, but one of his key assets is his ability to assist goals, because he's unselfish and also a very clever guy. And what Sancho does so extremely well is that he's constantly aware of his surroundings simply because he looks up a lot. Just these quick little peeks around him. For example, take the situation where he's on the flank, and you can see that both before and after he receives the ball, he just looks up and around him really quickly. And that means that instead of just squaring the ball blindly and hoping for the best, he gives himself a bit of time and awareness that he can wait until his teammates have made the right runs in the box and created enough space for Sancho to pass the ball into. So looking up and around and being composed is absolutely key here. Another situation here is where Sancho is cutting inside from the left, and because the defenders are moving towards the near post to either intercept the through ball to Sancho's teammate or to simply block the upcoming shot, Sancho's able to spot a lot of empty space in the far edge of the box. And here, instead of taking the shot, which would most likely get blocked, Sancho simply uses the momentum and the defenders being wrong-footed to make a very simple pass in behind him to his teammate that creates ultimately a goal. So what I want you to learn here is to constantly look up at your different options and then judge whether being selfish and taking the shot like Sancho could have done, or making a dribble is the right option, or if the chance of scoring a goal would simply be bigger if you're unselfish and pass the ball to a teammate who's managed to get himself in a better position while everyone have been looking at you. But how do you get everyone to look at you then? Well, just like Sancho, it's about making the defender aware that when you have the ball, anything can happen really, which is something Sancho does extremely well because he's so unpredictable. And he is that because he has a lot of little touches on the ball, and then he has a very low center of gravity. And this means that if the defender commits and lunges trying to take the ball, which he will at some point when you dribble, well, Sancho is so low on the ground and basically is constantly touching the ball, meaning that he can change direction like that and go to either side of the defender, meaning that the defender knows that if he gambles on getting the ball from Sancho, well, Jadon is gone. Another thing you should also try and adapt is how Sancho, a lot of the time at least, approaches the defender in almost a straight angle. And this means that combined with all his little touches, as I said, he's constantly able to go both sides of the defender because both angles are equally open to him. And it might not feel like the most natural thing at first, but try and adapt to your game because it makes you so much more unpredictable. Now, another thing you should also try and learn from Sancho is to slow down just before you reach the defender, because if you do, he has to slow down as well. And that gives you the momentum, so when you explode, you're already gonna be a few steps ahead. So think fast, slow, fast. And finally, Sancho is a fantastic player, not only because of his mad speed and insane dribble techers, but also, as I said before, because he's a clever guy. And what I want you to understand here is that even though you're the fastest or the best guy on the pitch like Jadon often is, well, it's a lot easier to penetrate a defense if you simply let the ball do the work. So when you've passed the ball to a teammate, which you should, you start running to get into a new and better position. But even though your teammate then passes the ball to a third guy on your team, you keep running because either the defenders are going to focus on the ball, creating a lot of empty space for you to run into and potentially get the ball again in a much more dangerous area, or they're going to look at you, meaning that you can create space for another teammate to potentially get a chance. So it's not always about you creating everything, but simply about the team creating space and getting chances to score. So what we could all take away from Jadon Sancho is to wait for your teammates to get in good positions, to dribble using small touches and going straight on, and finally, to make a lot of clever runs off the ball. So thank you, Jadon Sancho. But guys, which player should we analyze and learn from next? Well, you should let me know in the comment section right down below. Then go subscribe to the channel with the notifications on for more wicked content like this. And finally, go learn even more how to improve as a footballer in the playlist right down there. With that said, guys, I'm signing off. Cheerio.